So what are the 3 best days out of the year to deer hunt? If you could only pick 3 days, which ones would you pick and why? Well, in this episode, I'm going to share my 3 and my thoughts on why I would pick them. Hi, I'm Adam Lewis with DeerIQ.com and the Deer IQ podcast. And this is a high IQ topics video, and I'm going to share 3 days that I think are the best days to hit the woods, bar none. This is out of 30 plus years experience and just things I observe and other hunters as well and things I see about them. So again, if you only had 3 days or your days are really limited to when you can choose to hunt, I would focus on these 3. The first day of season. The first day of season is great because no one has really been in the woods. Yeah, maybe scouting, maybe there's been an early doe season or maybe youth season in your state, but really the deer in many areas have no clue that they're going to be hunted. And so this is a great opportunity if you've been scouting with trail cameras, if you've been glassing, if you've been doing some on the ground scouting or even done some scouting in the winter and spring. This is a great time to catch a buck off guard. He has no clue that he's going to be hunted, and you can get a quick hit on them, especially when they're still in summer patterns. This is an easy time. They're going from bed to food, and you can really easily pattern a deer and get a quick hit on a buck, a big buck, before he's wise to the fact that people are hitting the woods. As soon as that first day is gone though, depending on how much pressure is in your area, kind of the jig's up and deer will figure it out quick. So you kind of have to make sure you are really on top of it. You aren't just going in the woods anywhere you want to, or you really need to do that scouting ahead of time. But if you've been doing that scouting ahead of time, this is a great time to get a hit on a buck, or maybe 2, depending on your state. And depending on how many areas you have scouted to hunt, you can get some quick, good hunts right at the beginning of the year. So I would pick the first day of season to get out there. Okay, the second one. So my second favorite day that I think you should get out in the woods and hunt is, and I'm going to talk Midwest here, I'm in Michigan, October 25th through the 31st. This is pre-rut. Now the bucks haven't started really chasing yet. They're getting active though. And what I've noticed over the years with trail cameras and different things is that mature bucks will start really getting daylight active in this time frame. Again, the 25th through the 31st of October or so. The good thing about this time of year is that if you kind of know a buck's range, if you've done your scouting, if you have intel on certain bucks, they're still in their home ranges. They aren't wandering real far. They aren't chasing does yet. They're just getting active in their home areas. And so if you know what those are, this is a great time to get in there and catch them when they start getting daylight active. Maybe you're hunting scrapes. This is where bucks are really hitting scrapes. Maybe you have a good food source where you have intel that this buck is showing up in daylight. But even if he isn't showing up yet, this is a great time to focus on. Also, pay attention to weather. I gave a range of days. If you had to pick one day, I would pick the best weather day. Maybe it's a cold front that hits, or right after a big storm or something where deer are locked down and now they feel free to move again. But something like that to trigger which day that you want to get in the woods. And if I could pick just one day, if the weather is good, I would pick Halloween. Okay, so now for my third favorite day, if you only had 3 days to hunt all year. And some of you will think this is blasphemy, but it's not the rut. Post-rut. And the caveat here is that it's got to be a super cold day. You've got to get a weather front coming where it's super cold. You have to have the best food source in the area, or a real good one. And you have to have a very stealthy entry and exit, right? Deer have been hunted for a long time at this point of year. But deer in general, but big bucks specifically, they've lost 25 to 30% of their body mass during the rut. Chasing does, not eating very well, if at all. And so they have to replenish their body energy, their stores of fat to get them through the winter, especially up north. And so you get a cold snap, you get that's like a light switch for those deer to not only feed, but get up early in daylight when you can catch them. So that is a great day, picking the best day. I'd say anytime late November. Again, I'm thinking Midwest here. So if rut's mid-November, anytime late November into December if you get a really cold snap or snow. And this could even be into January, depending on where you're at, or even a month after the rut there, where they're still eating for quite a while to replenish that, and they'll hit the food pretty hard. So I left the rut out. Why did I leave the rut out? Well, the rut's a great time to catch deer in general, and a buck moving in general, but specific bucks are moving around a lot. So it's kind of like the buck lottery. You may have days where you see nothing and days where you have a ton of action, just depending on if you have a hot doe in the area or not. And so that's not a real consistent time of year, even though a lot of bucks are taken during the rut, and I've shot a lot during the rut. So I would say that's a great time, but if you specifically want to get a certain buck and pick one day, I'd pick one of these three. It's your best bet in my opinion. All right, those are my three. Please leave your comments below. I'm curious what your thoughts are and why. And I invite you to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next High IQ Topics video.